Alright. Hello everybody. Look, we got the most expensive card in our hand in the opening draw. We've never had that happen before, have we? Anyway, this is Travis. Thanks for hanging out at Tpull's Corner. Hope you're all having a good day. We'll see if we have a good day. We'll see how this playtest goes. It's usually not good when I get both. I only have 2 copies of Decklist in the deck, and I don't like getting them this early because I can't protect them. We will actually toss the land. And you can come through. And we'll create you. And that's all we will do. We are up against the Onicult Anvil deck. It looks like so far it's the pre-made deck, which is usually a very boring deck to play against because they're just so slow and tedious if you can just get a couple of creatures down to block. And I guess we're going to give up 1 because we don't want to take up 6 points of damage. And let's get rid of 1 Obnixilis. And it might be good to have a Blast Zone at some point. Let's keep that a surprise for now. And we will do...
You know what's happened to all my enemies? They're the experience will do you good.
I just need to survive with Tiki long enough to get the Blood Tithe Harvester out. And I guess we get rid of the expensive one. I can't keep throwing away land. I don't know when I'm going to get land starved. And you know what? That doesn't kill it, so I'm okay with just blocking with 1. Because now
well, aren't you precocious?
Tiki up him together. Plus, we got a Pugnacious Pugilist. And now we're kind of sad.
You're no match for my students.
They could even kill Jaya and I wouldn't necessarily start crying. This deck doesn't have a lot of removal, but it does have some. He might sacrifice this now for the card draw. No, he sacrifices that. Oh, but you can't get through now. Yeah, you need to attack with both just to get rid of my 1/1. And now we take over. Reflections. Copy you, create a blood token, use haste, sacrifice you, get rid of the 3 1s coming at us, bring down a Searchlight Companion, and they scoop! Oh, that is such a good feeling. The Onicult Anvil deck usually takes so long to beat. It's usually such a long, painful drudge. Or do I want to say dredge? Dredge through the muck of slow artifacts. Okay, our deck is D&D, not Dungeons and Dragons. It's called Devils and Demons. Part of the Devilish Valet series. So if you're new and you haven't seen the playlist, just go to the playlist and there'll be a Devilish Valet playlist. And we most recently did the red and green one with treasures. Using the Stimulus Package enchantment to turn treasures into creatures, and that was a new Capenna card, so Devilish Valet was a Streets of New Capenna card, so everything matched up really nicely. But we're moving on through the color pie, and we wanted to see, and by we, I'm using the royal we, I mean me. There's just one person here. But we wanted to see what we could do with the color black. So I started with more creatures originally. I'm at 21 right now. We've got the standard 24 lands and 3.2 mana cost, but it's misleading as usual when I do my decks because I am not ever planning to full cast Skitterbeam Battalion. We're going to play it for 5, and rightfully so because it creates 2 tokens, and we're not interested in a 4/4 Trample Haste. We're interested in 3 tokens, or actually 1 prototype and 2 tokens, so we can keep doubling up the Devilish Valet's power. So just real quick for those who are not familiar with Devilish Valet yet, Devilware from the Streets of New Capenna expansion, 1/1 or 1/3 with trample and haste. He's got the alliance mechanic. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you double its power until the end of the turn. So if we have 5 spare mana and we put down Skitterbeam Battalion, that's going to be 3 tokens. It's going to double his power 3 times. He'll go from 1 to 2 to 4 to 8. So he'll be an 8/3 with trample. I originally had 4 Searchlight Companions, and I think I had too many 3-drops. You can see I have a lot of 3-drops, so looking at the mana curve, maybe it was overexposed. So I put in 1 Concealing Curtains to have a 0/4 blocker, and 1 Cut Down to have 1 more removal, because I don't have a ton of removal. And I think I was drawing too many 3-drops in it early on against some really uber-fast decks. So we've got the Concealing Curtains, the Cut Down, we've got Go for the Throat, and we've got Debt to the Kami to make him exile a creature or an enchantment. So other than that, I don't have a lot of other removal. I've kind of got some removal with Bloodtithe Harvester and 2 copies of Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. So if we get stuck on mana, perhaps we can attack with the 2/2 Goblin Shaman creature token from the first chapter, and whenever he attacks, you create a treasure token. We might get 1 free hit in, or we might have to just do equal trade, or we might have to sacrifice the goblin just to get a treasure, just so we make sure we have the mana to do what we want. The third chapter, we get out Reflection of Kiki Jiki, and that's got a very well-known combination with Bloodtithe Harvester, which you saw in the first match. And as soon as we got that going, they just scooped. Where you create the token has haste, the token gives you the extra blood token, which allows you to take out a 4/4 if there was only 1 harvester out to begin with, and then it just it rapidly escalates from there unless you have removal. And you really need to get rid of Reflection of Kiki Jiki first. But other than that, we have Jadar, Ghoulcaller of Nephalia. He gives us a 2/2 Decayed Zombie token at the end of each turn. You might not think that it's good to have that because it's the end of the turn, not the beginning, right? Devilish Valet, what good is it going to do to double his power at the end? That's not what he's there for. He's there to be a sacrifice for Obnixilis half the time, so that we can get a copy, because we really want to have 2 copies of Obnixilis hit the battlefield. We've got 1 Tainted Adversary, 2/3 with Death Touch, and if we have extra mana, we can pay 3 more to put a counter on him and get a token, Decayed Zombie token. We have Hungry for More. This is where we have a little bit of lifelink, right? 3/1 Black and Red Vampire, Trample lifelink and haste, and it's got flashback, so we can bring it back and do it again for 3. They usually don't block this unless they have a creature of greater than 3 toughness. Morbid Opportunist. We have so many tokens that are going to die. This will give us a nice card draw ability. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be a permanent in order to give the draw. A token can die if it's a token creature, and we'll draw the card. It's only once per turn, but that might be all we need. Let's see. We've got also we can use Reflection of Kiki Jiki to create a token of Devilish Valet and double the original. So that'll be fun. And then if we have other tokens we can create, then we've got 2 creatures all of a sudden that have this doubling ability. So that's a fun combo right there. Squee, when he enters, he automatically creates a 1/1 red goblin creature as long as he survives long enough to tap and attack. Legamos, Hand of Hatred, legendary shaman, and he creates a 2/1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste. My favorite token art in all of Magic the Gathering, I think, right now. We can use him to exile, sacrifice for the casualty copy of Obnixilis. If I'm going too fast, just freeze the video and you can study these more if any of these are new to you. Otherwise, the deck list is below. Down to just 2 Searchlight Companions, just because I think I was getting too many 3-drops and not enough 2-in-1 drops. So I think I added in. I did a little bit of playtesting and added in the Go for the Throat, the Concealing Curtains, and the Cut Down overall. And I'm trying to remember what else I cut out. I think I gave up on one other 3-drop that was just a one-off. We've got Sorin the Mirthless, 1 copy of that. You can create a Vampire Creature token with his -2 loyalty ability. And so that can also power up the Devilish Valet. His +1 ability is awesome, too, just to look through the deck. Mishra's Onslaught gives us options. We can create 2 colorless soldier artifact creature tokens to double Valet's power twice in an instant. So it could be timed, and maybe they'll start to let him through in thinking that he's not going to, be doubled up, and then we could play this as an instant. Or maybe we go wide and we've got enough creatures we can just +2 to everybody. A little situational. The other Planeswalker, Jaya, Fiery Negotiator. We can trigger Valet with the +1 ability. And we have other stuff we can do with it too, with the -1 to exile top 2 cards of our library. Or the other, -2, choose target creature an opponent controls whenever you attack. She deals damage equal to the number of attacking creatures to that creature. 1 copy of Stenzia Uprising, an enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, you create a human creature token. And this is, again, something that happens at the end of the turn, which doesn't help us out with Valet right away. But with the ability that we have to sacrifice a lot of our tokens at our choosing, it's pretty easier for us to get to the number 13 and deal this 7 damage. So that's kind of fun. That sometimes wins us the entire game, if we can time it right. We've got Diregraph Horde. When he enters, you create 2 black zombie creature tokens with Decayed, so that's nice, getting 3 in. Burn Down the House can double... It's a double duty threat because we can either do 5 damage as a board wipe as needed and survive, or we can create 3 red devil creature tokens, which would make Devilish Valet go from a 1 to an 8/3, and it also helps to trigger Obnic Silas so that we can gain 2 life when we use his +1 ability. We have Pugnacious Pugilist, and look who that is on his shoulder. Does that or does that not look like the Devilish Valet? They seem to be like best friends. Maybe that's the coach. So that's a Streets of New Capenna expansion card. Whenever it attacks, you create a tapped and attacking 1/1 red devil creature token. So also fits in with Obnic Silas. And you can blitz him in for 1 cheaper mana, so the Pugilist would die if you just cast him for 4. But we get 2 tokens down. We get 2 creature entries, right? The Pugilist himself and the token devil creature. So Valet would be popped up twice and doubled twice from that. And then we already covered Skater Beam Battalion. We've got 1 Plaza of Heroes so that we could maybe save Legamos or where is he? Jadar if we wanted to. And we've got a couple of Blast Zones and 1 Field of Ruin. And if the game goes longer, we've got some tramway stations so we can draw cards by sacrificing the land. That's the idea of the deck. The Valet is the hero. He's the center. And let's see what happens. Devils and Demons. Here we go. Welcome to all the new subscribers. We're glad you're hanging out with us. Hoping you had a good day. Pufferfash. We go first. Woohoo! Treasure it while it lasts, Travis. Going first. Such a rare gem. Okay, don't starve me for mana just because I won the first match. Don't you dare. Oni Cold Anvil again? 2 in a row for that. Why? Why does my deck bring up this deck for Arena to put me against twice in a row? And why did we freeze? Okay, we're catching up. I missed a land drop. You little pukes. This should not be happening every single day. It just shouldn't. better to use him now because we're actually doing something rather than hold on to him and hope we can play him for like when we have 5 or 8 mana. But man, are we limited if we don't get a card draw for land. Oh wow. That's like the perfect start for him, period, right? And no card draw again. Okay. Thank you, man. So we beat this deck. We showed we could beat this deck. So now you just want to have this deck beat us? Is that what's going on? Ridiculous. Turn 4, you notice our opponent has no problem meeting his land draw. If you're a regular viewer of this channel, this is going to start to sound like a broken record player. Our opponent does not miss his land draw. Our opponent gets what he needs to put down when he wants. Look at how much land he has. He's got so much land, he's throwing it away. Hang on, we're just going to get rid of him now. Okay, so we're not getting any land at all the entire game. This is not normal. I would like to issue a formal protest with Wizards of the Coast, please. It would be normal if this happened to my opponent at least as often as it happened to me. Instead of happening to me like 5 times in a day and one of my opponents once. Of course they have removal. Because Travis can't be allowed to have anything out on the field. He gets 2 land and that's all he gets. Until it's too late to do anything else. Till we can't achieve anything else. Till they have an army of 1/1s that cannot be countered. Turn 6. It took me 6 draws to get a land out of my deck. Notice my opponent did not miss a land draw. My opponent not only did not miss a land draw, he still ended up with extra land somehow. And a triple threat with the centerpiece of his entire deck, all 3 of them up front. What a coincidence. What a miracle. That is so awesome. Oh, look. You got some nice removal. Oh, no, he'll lose that, right? So you can't play that this turn. It's only till the end of turn. Okay. What do we want to discard? Nothing. I don't care. If you're not going to give me land, you're not going to give me land. Nothing's going to fix that. Let's go ahead and attack with you. I'm okay with you dying because it gives me mana. But we can actually cast 3 spells now, finally, so 4. I mean, we're dead in like 2 or 3 turns, but I'll cast my spells. Why did you not kill him? You're going to sacrifice everything that I blocked with the anvils. No, he's not even going to bother. Not even going to bother. steals the one thing I had. The only thing I had going for me, you killed it. Sure. We're way too far gone now. Yeah, that's lethal. He's got me. That probably wasn't worth playing, but in the old days, I used to have somebody to help me do the editing when I first started this. That's why I started. Basically, I had somebody encouraging me, saying, "Oh yeah, man, I'll edit all your videos for you. It'll be great." And I didn't get to keep them forever, but it was fun while it lasted. And we had a lot of stuff where I'd play my decks and we would just get 2 land, and that would be it for 4, 5, 6 turns. And we would just edit those out. And normally I consider it boring play, but you guys have to know what happens, okay? You gotta know what goes on with us. At least we get to start this time. Magic, can we please have like a normal match? Notice it started me with 3 lands instead of the normal default 2 to sort of like say, oh, alright, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that to you. Not only that, it gave me all spells that I can cast already, basically. I think he's got removal. He should use it on the Harvester, right? Because the Harvester would be a permanent. They didn't do anything. I figured they would do something. Circuit Mender. Don't tell me this is only called Anvil again. That would just be crazy. I'll make the trade, why not? There's no Fable of the Mirrorbreaker in sight, so he's going to get a lot of life gain, isn't he? Okay, and we already are not having a land drop. So let's do that. What do we want to do? I think we want to do this. See what you got. Oh boy. We got virtuous stuff. We got destroying creatures. We got Isha. I don't like Lyssa though. That would be a really big problem for me. And it's easy for them to get the card draw. They've got a dog to draw extra cards already. They've got a bunch of 1 and 2 mana stuff. Okay. Not as much mana as I wanted.
I take no joy in the slaughter, but it's necessary. You deal with this annoyance.
We're stuck on defense. He should go after the Planeswalker. I was sure the Phyrexian Dragon Engine would go after the Planeswalker. Okay, so...
Flames roar, but with a little focus, they go on. Impress me.
Dire times
Let's go
call
ahead
for
and check.
dire tactics.
This type of stuff, they don't have trample. They could destroy my blood token with that. That's a disgusting card. Oh, thank you. Alright, so we block there, we kill that, we get 2 life back. And then we finally get to do something like this. Exile a creature. You can exile either one of those, I'll be happy. Figures. Alright, so that's got double strike attached to it now, doesn't it?
You're no match for my students.
My ways are not for the weak.
It doesn't have haste, right? We just need to keep our health up a little bit. He's got a lot of life gain in here. Between Mishra, the Circuit Menders, and these things, I'm gonna need to build up. Alright, we're done. We're done playing nice. Here. Let's go for broke. Skitterbeam Battalion. He cannot use Valorous Stance. Nobody's going to have toughness 4 or greater. You little puke. Okay, so now I don't have the attacks that I wanted to, so I'm just going to +1.
Taught them everything they know.
Then I'm going to create this.
You
That
can
should be
deal
enough.
with my servant. I'm busy.
And that's how the Devilish Valet works. And in that case, it didn't matter how much lifelink he had. We actually built up enough to overcome it in 1 turn. Which is not usual. Most of the decks that these people are facing... Ooh, Transmogrian Altar. If I didn't have 4 before, I bet you I have 4 copies now. Most of the life gain decks are centered around gaining life gain incrementally. So this is one of the few decks that can really overpower them in a fast and dramatic fashion. So if you are facing a lot of life gain in whatever meta environment you're in, Devilish Valet is a good card to keep in mind. To just be a sudden, surprising, shocking way to show these people, you know, you may be able to heal from everything that I normally hit you with for the last 3 or 4 turns, but then when we get the right amount of tokens coming into play on the same turn, you're just going to be toast. Blast Zone, Blast Zone. Okay. It is the wolf deck. Werewolves it is. Okay, so let's ring down Field of Ruin. Let's go ahead and see what he's got. He's got Halana. We don't like Halana. He's also got a Wolf Strike. But he's got two of those. He might kill me with the Wolf Strike, but Halana and Elena just has to go. So since he's probably going to kill me with the Wolf Strike, we won't block. This makes Skitterbeam Battalion a troublesome card to have drawn so early in the game, if we can't get rid of Frenzied Trapbreaker. Okay, put down a tapped land. I think we have to do that. Let's go ahead and put something on the Blast Zone. Because that's a 2-mana spell, right? So we could get rid of that theoretically. We'll attack again. I'm expecting Wolf Strike to get rid of that thing now. Or he could just bring down Fangblade Brigand. No, Wolf Strike it is. Okay. And that's for 4, right? So what do we do here? We die, evidently. Gross. I think we're still too far behind. 4-drop, 4-drop. And they got Trample. We sort of have to trade here for that. And can we afford to put one more on here? And then we'll put this guy down. No, we can't. Okay, so we'll put this guy down. I don't have a blocker now. Shoot, I messed it up. I don't think there was a... If I'm going to do the Blast Zone, then I couldn't have done... Yeah. But I didn't have the right mana either. I had all the specialty lands and none of the colors. I'm not sure if there was anything I could have done better. Maybe I could have just put down the Skitterbeam Battalions right about then. I may have to go back and look at the replay on that. Not nearly enough red and black mana up front, though. But the Werewolf deck is kind of tough, because the Werewolf deck can be really fast. But the combination of the green and red creatures that they get have really high toughness early on. And that can be really tough for this deck to get over. especially if we don't get any of our removal up front. Okay, and this is probably the mostly angel deck, so a lot of flyers, which we can also have a problem with. And no black mana again. This hasn't really happened to me yet as I've been playtesting the deck. Is this just going to be like a soldier deck? Okay, don't do this to me, Magic. I already lost the last turn. There's no reason not to give me land. Here comes the card draw stuff. I can't really afford to block that yet, can I? No land. No black mana still. And that may be enough to doom me. So maybe it's a mistake to have 2 blast zones in the deck. Maybe it's just too distracting. Yeah, because that's turn 4. They've got lethal next turn. Didn't get the land draw that I needed. You can exile a creature you control. It don't matter what you choose. It don't matter what you choose. There's nothing left to do. We will go. We will take our sorry selves and go. Okay, this is a new occurrence, but I'm gonna go ahead and make the adjustment now. Just because I haven't had that problem with 2 blast zones in the deck where I get them constantly up front. I'm usually getting the other stuff, but here, let's see, we've got just 1 Plaza of Heroes, 1 Field of Ruin, and 2 blast zones, and already that's way too many occurrences of all of those up front right away. So I'm just going to add 1 more swamp instead, and not bother with the fancy blast zone. You can see how when we focus on it, it's hard to build it up fast enough to have it make a difference for what we really need it to. At least 2 of them. It's much more important that you get the right mana mix up front early on for your first 3 turns. So it might make sense more if we were going to do like a colorless deck, or maybe just 1 color and a bunch of colorless, a bunch of artifacts. But it's not fitting in here. And you see, even though we just took out 1 specialty land, we're still getting specialty lands. Magic tends to do that a lot on the initial 2 card draw. And it's really putting us up against the fast decks, isn't it? And we increased by a swamp and still didn't get a black mana source. These decks can potentially kill you by turn 4. Ah, there's black mana. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put down a turn 2. He might have removal, but we can't really use that as an excuse not to make a play on turn 2 against a mono-red burn. I have to block that. Although we like to be aggressive and attack with the Valet, against mono-red burn we can't do that. He could still have a lightning strike if he's willing to use it. creature instead. Okay. Let's do the other one. We're getting a little low on the life. The good thing is we don't need to create a devil creature. The Devilish Valet counts to help gain its life. So do we have time to set this up? Not if they have a lightning strike. So there's 10 points. So you kill me this turn? And I might have misplayed there. Did I have the mono all along to do Jared? I was so focused on Legamos and looking at Obnixilis. I think it's a sign of you're getting tired when you only have like 4 cards in your hand and you're obsessing over 2 of them and you ignore the... Oh, could I have cast that third one? That could have done some more damage. Okay, so there's one. All he needs is 2 more damage to my face. He can untap the Thermal Alchemist and do the damage. Uh-oh. Do you not have the damage? He does. Of course he has exactly what he needs, doesn't he? Look at that. But I didn't really have... I guess I should have just put Obnixilis down and gained the life, so maybe that was a misplay on my part. I appear to be slipping up a lot tonight. Yeah, it was still a kind of a fun match. We don't normally get that close to killing red before red kills us. I may have to go back and watch the tape and see if I had lethal with Jadar actually and blew it. Alright, one more time. Come along now, let's play the game. Thank you. Have you been greeting anybody yet? We're playing blue. You gotta give him time to think. Ninjutsu? Ninjutsu deck? Returns that one instead of the attacker. Interesting choice. Okay. Then we're going to get rid of him now and not risk you doing some ninjutsu trick on me next turn. Dokushi Silencer. Let's have some fun. Removal of 2 creatures that have ninjutsu capabilities early on. Sometimes that'll delay them long enough that we have a chance. Sometimes they run out of steam. I don't mind about that quite as much because Devilish Valet has haste. But in the meantime, let's get some of this stuff away so we don't have to worry about them bringing anything back from the graveyard. If you want to boot the horde back up, I get 2 more of these later. I'm not afraid of you. Although he does have a flyer now, which means he could do some ninjutsu tricks against us. Two points. Whoop-de-doo. Okay. I say you're running out of steam before me. We're kind of doing this backwards instead of putting out the Valet and then pumping up the Valet. But ninjutsu changes the story. There's just no way to know what they've got. So leaving an unblocked attacker can be fatal to us, potentially. So we need to really force them. We need to clear the board whenever humanly possible. No attacks. We're glad he targeted Jadar. Does he have something to take out the Valet? We're not going to let an unblocked attacker through on an ninjutsu deck. It's just not going to happen. What do you got? You have a ninjutsu card after all of that we wiped the board with. We'll attack with you. We will get rid of your double mana card. And I guess we'll go get red. We need to refill on something besides land really next turn, so there was a land on top. Hopefully there won't be next time. It's a land. That's kind of nice. 2, 4. We kill you. that's not enough to get lethal, so what if we just do +2? Clear the board again. Oh, that was lethal, sorry. We gave +2 to everybody, I forgot. I'm so tired. Alright. Let's go in and show you the deck one more time. I think I should stop now while I'm behind. I can definitely tell that I'm not playing at peak performance. I've made a couple of obvious misplays. A little bit more than usual. So that's the deck as it currently stands. I might still have one too many 3-drops. Let me know what you think. Sometimes it feels like I should have maybe one more removal in there, even though, you know, we're at 21 creatures, you know, and we go up against a lot of decks that have like 25, 26, 27 creatures. We never seem to be able to do it. Whatever creatures we choose, it always seems like the opponent has these much more impressive creatures they can get down before us. So I usually end up dialing back on the creatures and adding in removal a little bit here and there. But we only have... I normally go for 8, right? 8 to 10, and I've got 2, 3, 4. Only 4, and then a little bit of, you know, possible removal with the Harvester later. So I guess you could call that 8 max, and then you get up to 10 if you include the 2 burn down the house board wipes. So that's generous, but that's actually kind of light on removal for the way I usually do it, especially if you think about it. I'm using black and red. Excuse me. Those are like some of the best cards that you have for removal and doing damage and stuff like that. But the 3-drops look a little long, but I like all the cards, so it's tough to take stuff out. When we can get Devilish Valet out early and we don't have the mana problems, getting all of these out with their tokens really can get him to build up and double up fast. And that is what we need. That is what the aim of the deck is to kind of build him up so fast and big that the enemy cannot react in time. But Sorin really works well with him, I think, and Jaya together, that was a nice combination, I think, to add into this deck. So we ended up using 3 different Planeswalkers, which is more than I usually have in a particular deck theme, I think. But these guys are really good combos together, I think. So, leave a note in the comments. Let me know what else you might do different. Let me know what else you might want to see. And I'm probably going to think about what to do with Devilish Valet and the color blue next time we add to this series. So we'll leave it there. This is Travis. Thanks for joining me, and have a good one.